got my title in May, and service learning has been something that's I've always been passionate about since I was in high school and was involved in a service learning program. Much like you, I'm not from America, I'm Nigerian, so I went to American high school in Nigeria, and it was so new to really take what we were learning in the classroom and really put it in the community, and the community that I was going to high school in was really in need. We had a lot going on with HIV and AIDS, and it was just amazing to take what we were learning in the classroom and implement it. And it's something that I carried with me. I went to University of George Washington University, and was involved there. And as Ms. Nelda Brown said, she's left now, but you all are really the bridge and on the front lines of where these kids are. You're the ones that are going to be able to create these programs or partner with all these organizations such as Kid Power and the other sub-grantees that ServDC has. And it's so important that you all understand what service learning is and really see how much it can affect your students. This last year, I was involved with one of ServDC's past sub-grantees, an organization called DC Today, DC Tomorrow. They worked in a charter school, and what they did is they're an organization that actually grew out of students at George Washington University, and they would go to these schools and basically set up service projects for the high school students. So they would go in on a Wednesday, they would have a meeting where they would reflect on some local issue. It could be a law that's about to be passed in DC, it could be something else that's just a current event. And then throughout the week, it could be on a Thursday or Saturday morning, they would take a number of kids who had signed up for that service project to go to feed the homeless, go clean up a park. They were really the ones that helped these kids fulfill their service hours, but then brought it back with the reflection activities on the Wednesdays. And I remember I went to a number of these outings. They always need volunteers to make sure they have enough mentors there with the students. And there were some kids who were a little more problematic than others. It was just interesting watching the dynamics and watching how they worked. And I remember at the last meeting, as the celebration part of the process, we had a little pizza party, and everybody was talking about what they had done through the year. And one of our students who had been more challenging to work with, he stood up and he said he had an announcement. And he wanted to announce that they were going to allow him to go to the 11th grade. And this was a big deal. I didn't know his background, I didn't know much about him, I just knew that he had been a handful, so I thought, oh, that's nice, along with the other 10th graders who were doing the exact same thing. After the party, we were able to speak with the school, and they were thanking the organization, and I found out that this student had been in 10th grade twice. He had not really been attending school or classes, and he had been thrown out of I think he had been to 2 different high schools from 9th to 10th grade for, reasons that probably dealt with his home life or whatever the case may be. And one thing that the principal of the school said to the person who organizes DC Today, DC Tomorrow is, one thing that you could guarantee about this student was on Wednesdays, he was in school, because after school they had this reflection activity. And on the days that he signed up to do community service, because you had to have attended school that day to go, he was in school. And to find out that something like that had such an impact on whether or not he stayed in the classroom, and obviously he was there long enough to get the grade to move on to the next grade, it just was so powerful to me, because I think a lot of times we think of service learning like community service. Well, of course we should feed the homeless, and of course we should go clean up a park. That's the right thing to do. I don't think we realize how much of an impact it has beyond us. And so I hope that you will keep that in mind as you work with students. I know that you will probably be implementing so many different programs that may or may not have to do with service learning, but you really sort of keep in mind just how much of an impact you're having, because you are. We so appreciate you having you here and having you being committed to the students in this way. As Kristen has mentioned, there's several different sub-grantees. DC Today, DC Tomorrow is just one organization. The students who started are actually now seniors in college, so it's not like they graduated, got huge grants, and were able to do this. They take time out of their days. I don't know how they do it, but on top of their class schedules, and a couple of them work, they still commit. With this school, they have a MOU, so it's very official. They are there when they say they're going to be there. And these organizations are out there, and I think that eventually there'll be a directory where you can access Kid Power and organizations like this, and really tap into those partners, because they could do huge things at your school that you may not be able to do with your own resources alone. So I just want to thank you all for being here. As Kristen mentioned, my platform is service learning. I'm very passionate about it. I still work with DC Today, DC Tomorrow, and it's just something that I think we often don't think about, or we often don't think about the way that it impacts students forever, essentially. And I just want you to continue to do that, and continue, I guess, with this training as well. There'll be resources that ServDC offers. I'm blessed because they've asked me to be a spokesperson when I first got my title, so I'm excited about that. and you know, just keep working hard and working with these students. Thank you.